Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRpodcast.com.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR. Kyle.
There it is.
Got it that time.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I take it easy on you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to yell at you.
That was the most gentest Kyle.
Cut it, Kyle.
Yeah. Got it.
Please. Kyle, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Go Big Red indeed. No block, no rock. Season 3, episode 53, coming at you live from the Nebraska Brewing Company tap room, 108th and Harrison in La Vista, Nebraska, 68128. Guys, let's talk about what we're drinking real quick. I myself am drinking, what are we going to call it, Connor?
It is good game.
Good game.
Yeah, just in time for the football season.
Yep, good game. Hopefully we'll be saying that a couple Thursdays from now. Good game.
Yep.
Huskers, good job.
Well, I hope we get to say it in like, not a condescending way, but like, good game. Yeah, good game to Minnesota. You know, PJ, just go home. I'd really like to get that win and say good game in a nice way.
Now, how would you describe this real quick?
So that's an American light lager. Obviously, you're drinking it right now. It is about the lightest beer we've ever made. It is the crushable.
Crispy.
Yeah. Oh, it's crisp.
The official NBNR NBC tailgating beer.
Oh, yeah.
That will be at a tailgate near you, guaranteed.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
I think it's almost like a unanimous decision at the table. I know Mike's got something different, but
Mike did have one, though.
Yes, I did have one.
try.
I had to try it because he said it was the best batch they've ever made.
And
So I
he
was like,
crushed the hell out of it.
I had one. We were
Obviously.
waiting. We were talking about a little bit of jerky, and yeah, I had one of those. I switched over to Tiger's Blood. It's a seltzer here on tap that you can only get in the brewery.
Yeah.
It is excellent. They need a label for it, but it is good. It's one of my go-tos.
Yeah, whoever the marketing guy here is slacking.
He sucks.
Trash.
Yeah.
KB, what you got?
I've got the good game as well. Like I said, unanimous decision. I know Connor's drinking it too, which is crazy.
Not drinking the Pilsner.
If that is not enough of a statement for how good this beer is, well, it was like we were probably 45 episodes deep of me only drinking Pilsner.
Easily.
Yes.
And now here's a good game.
Yeah.
If that's not enough of a statement right there, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
The ultimate name for a beer is good game.
Here comes,
Guaranteed.
Here comes my condescending good job. Good job. You actually freaking made a change.
Yeah. Once.
Okay, let's get to our special guest. You may know him as the host of Big Red Wrap Up, the host of the Let It Fly show, a veteran sportscaster.
I'm old.
Veteran.
Very old, yes.
Emphasis on veteran.
Very old, yes.
Veteran.
Very old.
Unsportsmanlike conduct back on 1620 The Zone back in the day.
Yeah.
Michael Severe.
Yeah. I'm the only one in here that's had a knee replacement. Yeah. I guarantee that. Probably never had a guess with a knee replacement, I guess.
Jared's
We've
probably
had a
getting
lot
pretty
of former
close.
players. I'm sure they've had some knee stuff. I don't know about replacement.
The one thing, so I always joke, I was a reporter forever, worked in the news. I have an ocean worth of information in my head. It's an inch deep. I know nothing about beer.
That's fair.
Like grew up, so my mom's second husband, MC, the guy that got me into football and everything, he actually worked at Dixie Beer in New Orleans.
Oh, no kidding.
I never got the taste for it. Never liked the taste for it. Never had it. But you got to remember, we were drinking mixed drinks and daiquiris in New Orleans, so there wasn't much of a beer crowd.
Right.
And this is the 70s and 80s where beer wasn't huge, didn't have craft beers. And so I never got into it. And then I quit drinking in 2002, and so I never had the chance to have it. But I know nothing about beer. You said Pilsner, I'm like, is that a city in Nebraska? I've been almost everywhere in Nebraska.
That would be Pilsner.
Pilsner, or something,
something like that.
I know it was close. Yeah.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Okay, Connor, I'm going to throw it over to you. I know
Yeah.
you have a little plug for Michael.
Yeah, so Michael and I got to meet through my mom, actually, Kim. They work together with an organization called the 50 Mile March.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael, I want you to kind of talk to the listeners about what is 50 Mile March, what you do for them, and how it benefits everybody, the veterans that it's helping.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, 3 people got together. One was Jay Morales. And they decided they were going to march from Lincoln, the state capital, to Omaha. And they would raise money. And they had no plan. They just said, we're going to do this. They had one vehicle that was following them, and it was a disaster for the most part. They ended up raising like, I don't know, $500, right? They were planning on raising $2,500. Then the second year, almost 30 people did it. And they did it on the behalf of a couple different veterans organizations. It still wasn't as organized as it is now. The third year I was there, that was last year. And we marched on behalf of Moving Veterans Forward, which is in Papillion. It's an amazing organization. More than 2,000 veterans have been placed in homes with furniture. They do a lot of things too. They help with PTSD. They help with people reuniting with their families, a lot of displaced families. Guy comes back from the military, woman comes back from the military. They're in a bad place. They end up leaving their family. They get them back with their kids. It's amazing what they do. Then there's also Guitar for Vets, which is a great way to be able to handle that PSD by playing guitar and all that kind of stuff. And then there's another group that's basically trying to fight veteran suicide. We all know the numbers of how many veterans kill themselves every day over the course of a year. And so we're raising money for them. Plus now, this year, we're raising money to build a place for Moving Veteran Forwards to be, also for veterans to go and get social services, to be able to get mental health services, to be able to get health services. We're building that as well. So that's the big thing this year. But it's August 26th and 27th, because we leave at 5 o'clock or so from the Capitol in Lincoln. And then over the course of the next 22 hours, we march on Highway 6 for the most part, all the way back here to Nebraska Brewing Company in La Vista, up that big-ass hill.
Yeah.
At the end.
Of course, it has to be the worst way to end that
It's
march.
like, come on, can we downhill at the end?
Making you work for it.
Exactly. There's two major hills that are kind of tough. There's one when you come to go to Cabela's.
Yeah.
That hill's pretty tough because it's not as steep, but it's long. And you're like, is it over? Is it over? And then there's the one out here, of course, on 108th Street. It's
Yeah.
So you say it's a 50-mile march. Are you guys actually marching?
We're in formation.
Okay.
I mean, we're not like drum majors in the band. We're not high stepping, but we're in formation. We're 3 by 3.
Okay.
And we stay in formation. We have 4 platoons. There may be an extra platoon this year because we have more than 100 people this year.
Wow.
So it's going to be
incredible.
huge. So we have the platoons. You got a platoon leader who is going to be kind of on the outside, making sure no one gets out of line, no one gets hit by cars. We've got 4 vehicles. We've got a giant 5-ton truck. We're essentially just marching. We basically go, it's 4 10-mile marches and then a little one from Cabela's to here. So that's basically what it is. You get to Lenoma about 2:30 in the morning. It's kind of chilly because it's on the water. And that's the time where you get a little nap, and then you get up and you walk the rest of the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak for Kyle over here, but
Yep.
He's a veteran himself. So
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that is special just for me because I have an individual that I served with that did end up committing suicide, and so hearing you talk about that, like, that's really cool, and that's something that NBC has been really involved with, and so that's something that's really been awesome. Just working with you guys and being sponsored by NBC, it's meant a lot, especially like hearing about the 50-mile march and all that good stuff.
Which branch?
Army. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Army only.
Yeah. Army. That's it. Yeah. I make fun of every. Only people don't make fun of is the Marines. Like you make fun of the Navy because they were white. I mean, who does that?
Yeah.
And then the Air Force because you call them the cheer force. They're the only ones that don't run anywhere.
Right.
Like, we run 2 miles. At least the Navy folks swim a little bit. I mean, come on, nothing. They're just like, I'm just going to sit here and shine my shoes. And like, no offense to the Air Force people, but you're wimps.
Yeah. And no one knows what the Coast Guard does.
Oh yeah, that's that one branch.
And they just, this week was the anniversary of the Coast Guard. It was just their birthday. Yeah.
And we
Nobody
all
knows how old they were. Coast Guard, whatever.
You put in more work in your 50-mile march than
You know what the Coast Guard does very well is they save people who are too stupid to go out and sail, not checking the weather first or if they had enough food or whatever. And they go, damn it, I got to go save some more people on a big boat.
spear fishing in the middle of a tropical storm.
Like, what are you doing? Coast Guard. Thank God for the Coast Guard to go out and do that and save people's lives.
Yeah.
Good job, Kyle.
Where'd you go basic?
I was in Leonard Wood.
Lost in the woods,
Yes,
baby.
sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I was at Fort Knox with all the gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got 3 hills.
Yeah.
It's agony, misery, and heartbreak. Agony the first 2 weeks, misery the next 2 weeks, and then heartbreak. Because at the top of the hill, it starts over.
Oh,
So
no.
it's called heartbreak. Yep, and those A1 Abrams tanks are going by you at the same time, and all that exhaust is coming. It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's a great base, but it's very. Yeah, I went in the end of August. Yes, I was August, September, and going in October. Yeah.
How long did you serve?
So I was in for really 3 years because of what happened with Desert Storm. It kind of shortened all our tours.
Okay.
I could have stayed. I should have stayed because you know what I knew I should have stayed when I turned 40.
Yeah.
And I would have been retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? But I got a lot of experiences, and you learn so much. I was telling people on the walk, We walked 10 miles last weekend and then 15 miles this weekend. And they were complaining because their camels don't taste. The water doesn't taste good.
Right.
I'm like, all you got to do is you boil it and then you take that boiling water, put it in the refrigerator, let it cool off, dump it out, boil it again. It's fine. They're like, well, how do you know that? I go, I got a book when I went in the military that taught me how to do everything I ever needed how to do. It's the Bible. It's green. And I know all of the damn grenades by heart because you learn everything in a book.
Yeah.
If we taught school like that, and I'm a big proponent of public school, but if we taught school the way we taught in the Army, I'm telling you, dude, we have a lot better off kids.
Yeah.
Teach you how to troubleshoot, teach you how to memorize, how to work together. It would work a lot better.
Yep. Take notes, Jared.
Listen.
Yeah.
Hey.
Jared is a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the
And thank you for what you do. I'm very appreciative. No one knows it better than all of us parents during COVID that you guys do a hell of a job. I'm trying to teach.
He's not that good.
I'm trying to teach honors geometry to my sophomore, and I had geometry 35 years ago. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was
I
rough.
don't know if we tried things the Army way at the school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could work. The parents can't get involved. The parents can't get involved. If the parents can't get it, look, I was an education reporter for 5 years. I know how bad it is with the parents. But if you could keep them out of it, the kids they'd fall in line like that. I'm telling you, they'd fall. Every single race, ethnicity, religion, from 86, what do you call it? You're smart. What do you call those things? I can't remember what it's called. Come on, help me out. What do you call your thing? Somebody
IQ?
has IQ, thank you. From 86 IQ to 250 IQ. And they all learn the same thing. We all go through it. You go at this station, go at this station. It's really simple.
Yep.
I hear you, but throughout every day when I'm teaching, I hear the faint sound of a and that's a parent.
Oh, helicopter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, I hear cell phones. I feel like cell phones would be the thing that really stops kids from
I would
learning.
really have to have those turned off.
It's okay. We have cell phone caddies.
Oh, nice.
Up in the front of the room.
Okay, nice.
So it's fine.
I got busted in 1986 with a transistor radio in my pocket, running up behind my shirt to listen to 1986 NFL draft, of which the Saints took Dalton Hilliard and then Jim Dombrowski in the first 2 picks. And I got busted by Miss Gubala, my science teacher, who took it from me, and I couldn't get it back to the end of the year. It was
whole year?
No, it was April.
Okay.
It was April. I got it back in June. But still, she took it for the rest of the year.
Miss
Gubala. Miss Gubala.
How do
She
you
was
forget
terrifying. I don't forget. I remember everything about her. Everything about that moment. She took my brush one day. I left my brush on the table for a second. You know, I had to just comb my hair. I was coming from outside PE. I left it on for a second and she took it. Didn't get it back to the end of the year. She was tough, man. She was tough.
Yes.
She was tough. Miss Gubala.
I'm not sure
Did
she
you get the
survived
ruler
that.
across the knuckles?
So I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
And I had a nun in 8th grade named Sister George. Sister Mary George. Her maiden name was Pussatary.
No
lie. This woman hit me across my shoulder with a ruler and the thing splintered everywhere. I had a mark on my finger forever from a thing that and I was bad, don't get me wrong.
Built different.
Yeah, she was built different, all right. Let me tell you right now. That woman was tough. She lived to be probably 89. We actually went to a cousin of mine's funeral and she was there because she went to the same school I did. And Sister George saw me and she walked up and she goes, You're Michael, right? And I said, yeah, she tried to hit me. Yeah. I'm not lying. In church, at a funeral, she tried to strike me.
Well, what were you doing at a funeral to get hit?
My cousin, I didn't do anything wrong. She realized who I was. She remembered.
It was instinct.
Instinct. She was like, oh, I got to hit this guy. Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. Yeah.
What? Pussatary?
Yeah, Pussatary. It's Italian. Italian name. Yes, Sister George. She took George, which is funny enough. And then she tells us, my name is Sister George Mary Pussatary. Yeah. And you don't think 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are going to laugh forever?
Why would you even advertise that if you're her?
Oh, no. I never say it again.
Well, she didn't give a damn.
You know why?
She didn't give 2 damns.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I think laugh, she's just going to hit you harder.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is she has something inside of her. I know this kid's going to make fun of me.
Right.
I'll get to hit him for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. Give me an excuse.
That's pretty much it. That's who she was. Yep.
Okay. Well, speaking of, we were talking about before.
If you had a good segue from this, I'd have been like, that's
impressive.
Speaking of that would have been incredible. Speaking of cunnilingus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PJ Fleck. That's a real.
Oh God.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, we got off on the Pussatary.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine.
It's a path, actually. It's not a road.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of agony, misery, and heartbreak.
Yes.
There's a lot of fan bases that are feeling this
Yeah.
due to conference realignment and stuff. Got Oregon and Washington to the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Severe.
Yeah.
Who are the next programs to change conferences within the next, we'll say, month, right? I feel like something else is going to happen.
Are we
right?
going to count like Stanford going independent?
You think
they're going to go independent?
I don't see any other place. They're way too prestigious of a university to be in the Mountain West.
Right.
What about the Big 12? though?
I don't think the Big 12.
The Big 12 announced today that they're done.
Yeah,
They
I don't think the Big 12
Really?
want to do
Yeah.
it. You get to a point where you just can't share any more money.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's getting their money. You bring somebody else in, all of a sudden you got to split it again. It doesn't make any sense. Stanford makes sense going independent because Notre Dame is one of their best rivals.
Okay.
I think they could find a schedule. They can make a decent schedule. They don't mind traveling. I think they would go independent. I think that might be the next thing we hear is that Stanford's going independent.
Could you see Stanford going Ivy?
I don't think the Ivy League would allow that. Nobody's more proud of who they are than the Ivy League.
Trust me, they'll tell you.
They're very proud of who they are. You ever have a conversation with somebody and you're like, yeah, I went to Harvard Law School. I didn't even ask you who you were or your name. And now I know you went to Harvard Law School. No, I can't see that happening only because of what the Ivy League is. And God, the only school you could say, honestly, that was in the Ivy League and left, as Rutgers was kind of an Ivy League school in the 1860s and 70s. They played in the first game against Princeton. They were kind of like an Ivy League school, but they pretty much are set. I don't think that would ever happen. I think it's independent for Stanford. The team that I've loved Utah for years. Yeah. Not just because of Kyle Whittingham. I went to go see the last game that Lavelle Edwards was head coach at BYU. I went to that game. I went to the Holy War. I was working in Albuquerque, so I covered the Mountain West at the time, whatever it was called. And so we went to go see the game, and I never saw two fan bases hate each other more.
That's incredible.
It was so much hate. I couldn't believe how much hate there was. And I fell in love with it. And I really like Utah.
Aren't they all just like a bunch of Mormons that hate each other? Or
I
what?
love the hate.
It's not that because it's more a little bit like Muslims and Christians.
Oh, okay.
Because even though there are some Mormons at Utah, there's fewer obviously than at BYU.
Right.
And so there's a lot of hatred because of that back and forth.
Okay.
And BYU thinks that they're special. And Utah's like, whatever, we kick your butt. So there's that greatness to it. Holy War is wonderful. And so I've always kind of liked Utah. So that's a team I'd like to see in the Big Ten.
Right.
Utah I would enjoy being
Yeah.
there. More so than Oregon or Washington, really. Although those are two of the best road games that Nebraska has ever played that I've been to, and I'll love that to be able to go to see them playing Autzen again and go to see beautiful Seattle and that landscape too.
Right.
Coast to coast. The Big Ten has done it.
It's coast to coast, yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of teams in the Pac-12, did you guys see the reports? There was an anonymous at this moment Pac-12 president talking to the Big 12.
Dude.
Oh, about the 9 teams?
Take everybody but Oregon State and Washington State, and that is some incredible slander to the OSU and Wazoo programs.
You know what's funny is you go all the way back to 2010, 2011 when we had the first really big expansion, and we were trying to figure out what was going to happen because Texas and Oklahoma and a couple schools were going to be leaving to go to make the Pac-16, and we're having a conversation on who would not go. And the 2 schools that would not go were 3 schools: Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Washington State were teams that nobody wanted because they were all tier 3 schools,
Right.
lower academic schools. And I think most conferences, no matter who they are, don't want lower academic schools. So that puts Washington State in a horrible predicament. It's a small campus. It's a smaller school, smaller budget. Plus, I don't think they're still tier 3, but they're pretty bad. They're lowly ranked in terms of academics. So that puts them in a bad spot. Oregon State, not as bad.
Yeah.
Yes, small town, smaller school, but not as bad academically.
Yeah, but athletically, I mean, both programs have seen success in recent years.
Sure.
I mean, Oregon State is perennial baseball. Like you always half expect to see them in Omaha.
Yeah, you did. You did for that stretch, yeah.
Baseball.
And then they came and that horrible thing happened with their pitcher who had the accusation from when he was that was just
that was.
I don't ever want to see him come back
disgusting.
again. Yeah.
Well, okay, so you mentioned baseball. That's not why all these moves are being made.
No,
Right.
the moves
So-
are being made.
No.
They don't make money playing baseball.
That's where my next question is.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be college football is going to have its own thing, and all these other sports.
Sure.
They're going to be the regional. Like, I don't think if you're freaking Washington, we got to go to Rutgers because we're in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Not the golf team, right?
Yeah.
Just football.
All you would be able to do when it comes to Olympic sports is make a week travel. So you go out there and you play maybe 2 or 3
Stay out there.
games or series or whatever it is. That's the only thing that makes sense because you don't want to be making that 5.5, 6 hour flight for those kids. You don't want to do that. And then it really does. And I know you guys are still fairly young. It really, even when you're young, it just wears you out mentally. Even if you're flying charter, it doesn't matter. It just wears you out mentally. You heard Matt Rhule talk about how it takes a day per time zone. It's true. It really is. And it's so much worse going from east out to west because all of a sudden you're playing at a game that's 9 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yep.
It's 12 o'clock your time, but it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You're out there. You're off your complete schedule. It's just bad. And we're going to see so much of that. And first of all, let me say this. I don't really care about where anybody goes. As long as I can place bets on games and go to games and watch it on TV, I don't care.
You're part of the problem.
I'm part of the problem. I don't care where they play or who they play against. Do I miss traditional rivalries? Of course.
Yeah.
The thing that happened between Missouri and Kansas, I hate the fact they call it a border rivalry because they're not borders between states, teacher. They're state lines, not borders. You got a passport, you go across a border. You know, passport to go from Missouri to Kansas. Anyway,
didn't name it.
I know, but you missed that. Texas and Texas A&M have their names in their fight songs, other names, and they don't play. And they're not playing each other for another year. That I miss. Other than that, we're still gonna play football games. We're still going to be able to get up very early in the morning, watch game day or watch Big Fox or whatever else, and then watch games. Yes, I'm fine.
Even earlier and later now.
Exactly.
For us, for
exactly.
Nebraska.
I love that. You wake up in the morning, you got a game at 11 a.m., and you get to watch football till midnight.
I lived in Albuquerque. It's the best thing. We'd get up on Sunday mornings, and we'd go to the sports bar, and we'd have breakfast burritos. And then the games would start. It was the best. It was outstanding. I don't mind it at all. I love the fact that the game in Colorado is going to be 10 o'clock. Because I can come back and I can drive back instead of spend the night.
Yep.
We would have had to spend the night, an extra night if it was, say, 2 o'clock, 2:30. It was at night, of course. Now it's at 10 a.m. We'll be home by 10.
Yeah.
Right.
So you mentioned you're a gambler.
I have been known to place a bet.
Have you been tailing any picks coming out of the University of Iowa at all?
No. And I follow a little LSU, so I understand that there's some ties with that too, you know. But no, I have not been. I called Damon's show the other morning to say, here's how you know someone's a truly degenerate. When Nebraska was 6.5 at even money, you bet the under, and then just to make sure, cover your bases, you take the plus 1,100 to win the division.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how you know that you got your bases covered and you're probably a degenerate.
Yeah.
Or you had Cleveland plus 1.5 against the Jets.
Right.
You mentioned the rivalry thing, and you were talking about Texas A&M. The one thing that I found funny was when they asked about the Oklahoma State thing.
Oh, Gundy?
Yeah. And Gundy, it's like
it's over. They left us.
They left us.
I understand.
And that one was kind of weird because I feel like Oklahoma State's been little brother for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, I don't want to play Oklahoma anymore.
Bedlam's the best name.
Yeah.
As much as I love the Holy War and I love all those names. Well, there's the 100 mile. You guys know the 100 miles of hate?
No.
It's Western Kentucky and it's Western Kentucky and they're exactly 100 miles apart. And the name of the rivalry is 100 miles of hate. Which I think is
incredible.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Middle Tennessee, the Raiders. Yeah, the Blue Raiders, right? Blue Raiders. So that's one of my favorite names. But Bedlam just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're about to get rowdy with some Oklahoma people.
Right.
Yeah.
Which has got to be fun.
It's one word.
Bedlam. That's all you need. It's perfect. Yeah, I love it. Better than Cyhawk.
Right.
That's terrible.
It's bad. Cyhawk's bad. And Nebraska had the victory bell against Missouri.
yeah.
Which is so we still have that bell, right? We kept the bell, didn't we?
We won the last
We kept
game.
the bell, yeah.
Blaine Gabbert, the guy that decommitted from Nebraska, never beat Nebraska, and that was the last
He
time
was
we played
one
him.
of two quarterbacks named Gabbert to decommit from Nebraska.
Yeah.
After the first one, you didn't go with the second one?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mistakes.
Something about that family.
Is our bits of broken chair? Are they still doing that?
They still are,
are.
yeah. I just talked to him. I DM'd with him a couple days ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like an unofficial fan thing now.
They,
Yeah.
don't they
just
raise
to
money
see how he
for
was
charity?
doing. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's for like Team Jack and stuff. We did some ads for him last year too, and try to plug all that stuff for Team Jack and the broken bits of broken chair and
Look,
$5.
I love it. Anything that is fan driven, anything that is born by the fans, I think it's just fun.
And we get no trophy games in the Big Ten, so why not give us another one, right?
Right.
Everybody else gets trophies for every game they play in the Big Ten.
We have the Iowa game, the trophy game,
Heroes.
the Heroes Trophy, which is now sponsored by.
Is it? It's not. Well, it was Hy-Vee. I don't know what it is now.
Oh, come on. I just heard this.
Isn't it like Pioneer?
Yeah, it's
something to do
not
with like
acres, it's
herbicide
not
or something.
Acres, but it's something
like that. Yeah, I think it's Pioneers,
like
the news-
corn something.
something. Yes, that's
Agriculture
ideal.
thing. It's more fitting.
It makes more sense.
Yes.
And I mean, Hy-Vee's nice and they're nice people and they believe in heroes, but it makes a lot more sense that way. And Nebraska also has a rivalry trophy with
Who?
They made up one. It was Penn State. When
Well,
the
what?
first, when it was Legends and Leaders, that was the assigned crossover for Nebraska. And I'm pretty sure they did a trophy.
No way.
For a minute, I think I'm almost sure. You can look that up. I'm pretty sure they did a trophy with Penn
I
State.
believe you.
I think they
but
did.
I am like
I've
mind
never-
blown now
I
because
actually
I'm
grew up a Penn State fan. So
Really?
I lived on campus. My dad was a chef there the last couple of years of his life. And so I grew up a Penn State fan. And it was a hell of a time because between 76 and 80, they were either playing in national championship games or going undefeated. They were really good. And when they named Penn State the crossover, I was like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
But I swore they had named something for that crossover series when it was Legends and Leaders.
Did that trophy ever leak Penn State's case?
Yeah.
we beat Penn State.
Nebraska beat them.
Yeah, we beat Penn
Well, they
State.
beat them in the famous game when they had the prayer in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Yes. That's 2012.
The names on the back of the
11?
jerseys, I remember that.
Yeah, that first 2011.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, that was horrible.
Bill
Yeah.
O'Brien, I think was no, I don't think it was even Bill O'Brien. I thought.
No, Bill O'Brien took over after
Yeah,
everything
after that.
happened.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
2 years before he left.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can't
Sandusky
find it.
thing.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I swear there was something that they did because they were playing crossover.
But there is one for sure. It's Bits of Broken Chair Trophy.
And there is the bits of broken chair
but
trophy
they
from
don't want to
Minnesota.
claim that as an official trophy, which is ridiculous.
We should find a podcast from another college and create our own trophy.
Yeah, we should.
It just goes between
Against
the
their podcast.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
We tried. Actually, they're really hard to find. So last year during football season, we tried to get a media person from each team that we were playing.
Okay.
We got people from like, was it North Dakota?
Yep.
We got
Northwestern.
Northwestern. Like, we got people like beat writers and stuff that came on, but finding those podcasts, they don't exist. They're not crazy like us people.
really?
Nebraska's got 100 of them.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I'm sure like Buckeyes, but I don't think we played Ohio State.
There's a Bucknuts one, isn't there? A
Yeah.
Bucknuts one?
Yeah.
The Michigan one, we did do a collab with the Blue by 90 guys, and those guys they're
Well,
big
when
time.
you start talking about the blue bloods of the conference, you're going to find
That makes sense.
dedicated, like Nebraska.
Do you have a least
Blue
favorite
blood.
team in the Big Ten?
Least favorite team?
Well, it's got to be Iowa.
It's Iowa.
Yeah, definitely Iowa.
See, mine is Michigan.
Really?
I hate
Go on.
Michigan.
Go on.
Nobody believes that they invented football more than Michigan. No stadium is more overrated than the Big House.
I agree with that.
No parking situation is worse. Do you know they charge? Sorry about this. The media to park. Who charges the media to park? We're there doing a job, and you're charging us to park. Don't bring a SAT truck back in the old days. You charge you like $500 to park your SAT truck. Plus, the food sucks in Ann Arbor. And what is in Ann Arbor anyway? I mean, it's ridiculous. I hate the fan base. I hate their colors. I hate their helmets. I hate everything about Michigan.
Ann Arbor?
And overrated. You know,
As a program, right?
do this. Do since integration.
Oh boy, this is great.
And then come the now. What the hell they won? A half a trophy in 97?
Yeah.
What the hell have you won?
My man.
What? Ohio State has owned you. They've owned you as if. Can I say your name was Kunta Kinte? Or you guys even know what Roots is? They owned them. Owned them.
I love this
Hate
rant.
Michigan.
Okay, we did have a good time in Ann Arbor, but
I did not.
Speaking of Ann Arbor,
Hated it.
we tried this thing called mead.
Yeah, I've had mead. You never had mead before?
What? Mead?
Oh, mead.
Mead's
terrible.
It's mead. Yeah, mead. So mead, that's obviously the way it was first made.
Honey, alcohol.
Yeah. That's
Terrible.
how-
Well, you can't blame Ann Arbor for that.
No, I know,
because
but
they
that was
didn't
the
invent
first
it.
time I ever
I think
had
you
it.
have to blame the English for that.
Yeah, I don't care. It was freaking terrible. It was just like very uppity.
No, it's not English. It's Icelandic, I think. Because I watch a show called Ragnarok. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix, and they had it in there, and they talked about how it was made by those people in Iceland. So
It's freaking gross.
or Denmark or somewhere.
I've had some good meads.
No, that was terrible. And
that's
it's
not
very
like-
uppity. Like if you've been in Ann Arbor, it's very like
It's very
sturdy.
college town.
Yeah.
And the stadium, yes, it's big.
Yes.
But is it loud?
No.
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 If you're driving by there with your window open and you can't hear the fans, that's not a real stadium.
Right.
That's Northwestern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
But, I mean, come on.
It is interesting because you like walk in street level and then it goes down, right? That's cool.
Like the old Georgia Dome used to be.
Yeah.
I hate them.
What's the loudest stadium you've ever been to?
Oh, it's Penn State. Well, stadium for any sport?
Any sport. We could say any sport.
So the Superdome for the NFC Championship game, 09 going into 10, that was the loudest I've ever heard a building. It was incredible. When the Saints kicked the field goal to win it, that was incredible. When the pick happened with Tracy Porter, who also had an interception in the NFC Championship game, just like the Super Bowl.
Yep.
When that happened, when
I'm
Brett Favre
fully
threw the
aware.
pick. Yeah, sorry. When Brett Favre threw the pick, you Minnesota fans?
Oh, no. Okay, so you said 09. Just kidding.
Yeah,
I
09.
thought you were talking about the Super Bowl.
No, that
Peyton Manning.
That was the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, okay,
but in the
yeah,
NFC
yeah,
Championship game,
yeah.
they picked up Brett Favre. But
Yeah,
that's as
yeah.
loud of an indoor place I've ever heard. It was incredible how loud it was. In terms of outdoor, I think the first time I went to Washington, the old stadium had this overhang, and for some reason the sound would like go into the overhang and then it would slam on your head.
Wow.
And it was like beating you down. I don't know if you've ever been in a band where the drum's right behind you. That's how it felt being in Washington in Husky Stadium back then in the 90s. Kansas City's loud for an NFL team. Penn State, probably in terms of an open air nighttime environment, that's incredible.
Well, yeah, because when you think of Beaver Stadium and the Big House, like they have the same architectural kind of build,
Penn
right?
State
The
goes
wide open,
more up, yeah.
more up,
More up, yeah.
But I mean, you
Yeah.
watch a Penn State game, it's like the whiteout.
Also, what you
The
get,
whiteout's cool as
Also,
fuck.
what you get is the mountain. You have the sound bouncing off of the mountain.
See, I've never been
back
to
here. It's
State College.
It's the hardest place to get to on the planet for for a college game. You can fly into one of 17 places. Washington D.C.,
Yes.
Pittsburgh, Harrisburg. You can fly in it wherever you want, and then you got to drive.
Right.
I'm not flying into State College.
Hence why I have not. So I've been to 8 of the 14 Big Ten stadiums,
Okay.
and Penn State, one, because we haven't played them very much,
Yeah.
but two, it's just so freaking hard to get to.
It is hard to get to. It is really hard.
It's a
to get
very
to.
expensive trip.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yes. You can, and I remember somebody from the World Herald did this. They flew into D.C., covered a Creighton game. Did I remember that right? And then drove up to State College, covered the game against Penn State, and then drove back to D.C. and then flew back here.
That's a trip.
It was a trip. Might have been John Nietawa that did that. I think. I don't know. John Nietawa.
Well, okay, since we are on kind of a Penn State,
Okay.
like
We are.
like Matt Rhule, right? Matt Rhule. How concerned should we be about Matt Rhule?
So you mean going home?
Yeah.
You said it.
Going home is not what it's always cracked up to be. And I would hope, and he's such a researcher, I'm sure he's talked to people who've tried to do it. It rarely ever works. And it does. It occasionally does.
We saw it here.
We saw.
Yeah.
We saw.
Come on.
Like Bobby Crimmins try to go to South Carolina from Georgia Tech and not work out. We've seen people try to do it. We've seen it work. Look, it's working with Kyle Whittingham, right?
Yeah, sure.
He's a
Yep.
Utah guy. But I don't know. I think he would think about it enough to where he would realize it's not always healthy to go home.
Right.
You know what? Scott Frost said it. And he told us. He's sitting in a golf cart and he's talking to the guys from the newspaper, and one guy from the newspaper and one guy from the TV station down there. And he tells him, he goes, I'm afraid in a way to take this job because if it doesn't go well, not only do I lose this home I built here in Orlando, I lose my home in Nebraska, which he did.
Yep.
It's not easy to go home. Now, could he do it? It would probably mean that he did very well at Nebraska.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it means he turned around Nebraska. I don't know if James Franklin's looking to leave anytime soon. He's got his best team he's been there.
Yep.
This is his best chance to win the Big Ten. Even over the year that he upset Ohio State and then beat Wisconsin in the Big 12, the Big Ten title game. Even there, he's got more depth. He's got a better quarterback this year. So I guess if they won a national championship, maybe he would decide to maybe try the NFL or something.
Perhaps.
I don't know. I don't see a reason for James Franklin to leave.
Yeah,
Right.
and we talk about all the time where college coaches going to the NFL. What we've named 2, maybe 3
Doesn't
that
work
really
a lot.
transition successfully.
It doesn't.
Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson, yeah,
Yeah, and Pete Carroll did it and then left and came back again
And had to try again.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I understand leaving to go to the NFL because you want to challenge yourself at the highest level.
I
right?
get that.
You're shooting and you're just a basic beginner, right?
Right.
And then you say, well, I want to be expert, and so you work to be expert. Well, you have to go against other people who are experts.
Right.
I get that. I understand it. I would never say don't go to the NFL because you want to challenge yourself against the very best. I get that, but I just don't think James Franklin's doing that.
Now, KB, you forgot to hit the beep when he said Scott, but it's okay.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know that. We didn't
Did I
explain
say his
that.
name or what did I say?
Yeah.
No,
So here usually somebody will prompt and they'll say, "Oh yeah, former head coach Scott."
Yeah, we don't.
All right.
If we refer to him as a player, you can say, our quarterback Scott Frost.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about him as a coach, it is former head coach Scott.
So in 2004, I took the job at Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Okay.
And Kevin Kugler had been doing this show essentially by himself for 6 months. And Kevin was tired.
Yeah.
So I had never worked full-time in radio. I had done some stuff in Albuquerque just helping out. And he left me after 2 weeks. I didn't know how to run the phones, the computer, nothing. He left me. But they set up this group of people to co-host with me. And one of them was Scott Frost. because Scott Frost had tried a couple things. You know, he was in 03. He was like helped out during the bowl transition.
Sure.
He did like some GAing and that kind of stuff. Went to Kansas State, did all that, and didn't know what he was going to do once he was finishing playing NFL football. And so he came in and he did a show together, and it was good. He was fine. He was very honest, I thought, about the way he felt about the Huskers and the way he felt about NFL and a lot of stuff. The thing about him is, I believe that he obviously wanted to win. He wanted to make this work. Right? Yeah. I don't think he had any idea how hard it would be. And again, this is not from me. This is from people who played with him. Okay. There's something about him to where he doesn't necessarily handle failure well. And some people are very good at it. And those are some of the best people in the world that can handle failure, because then they become better. He doesn't handle it well, whether it is with a girl or with football or whatever else, what happened at Stanford. And so I think it started turning on him, and then his dad died.
Yep.
And I don't know if any of you guys have lost a parent, but there's really nothing like losing a parent, especially if you're really close to that parent. And I think losing his dad really rocked him. And so from there, of the disappointment not working quickly, not knowing what to expect, losing his dad, I think that's what threw him off the rails.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And we've heard that too. Is the tightness with his dad.
He was very close, much closer to his dad than his mom. Yeah.
Yes. So that's unfortunate. I think we're at a really good point. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. We have the saying, no block, no rock.
Thanks, Troy. Now, before we went to break, we were talking about the previous regime and all that. We don't need to hash all those things over.
Yeah. But I want to talk about Callahan while I'm here. Yeah, go ahead.
How do I transition to that? Well, I did want to ask you, a few months ago, you had kind of went viral over that video that you made about some of the shortcomings of the previous regime.
Yeah.
And look, we're all drinking the Rhule. We all are.
Yeah.
We're all positive.
Sure.
We all believe this.
Yeah.
Is there anything right now about Rhule, his staff, the way he does things, that might give you like a little pause and maybe just like give us something to like think about, like, hey, everything's cool now. They haven't played any games, right? We all believe. Yeah. But is there something that's like...
Like literally the only thing I would say is that he references too many walk-ons.
I totally agree with that.
Ty Hahn.
That's about it. I love Ty Hahn. Dude,
listen,
great high school athlete.
Coach's son, Jim Rat.
Yeah, I don't need him playing. No, I mean, again, it's great when a local kid, practices hard, earns his spot, plays, and all that stuff. It's great. But there's a reason why you spend was this $1.8 million recruiting a year, right?
Right.
Because you're going to get somebody who isn't a walk-on from, what was that, Pilsner before we talked about? Pilsner, Nebraska. So literally the only thing. I saw him at the Jet Award, and I introduced myself, and I just said, look, so far you've done everything great. And he's like, I'm coaching him. I said, it doesn't matter. All we wanted was adults in the room. And so far, you've been an adult in the room. That's all we were looking for.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to say that. I mean, has he ever misanswered a question?
No.
How about when he gets a question that's stupid and he gives a great answer?
Yeah.
And he doesn't go, that's a stupid question, bro. He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He just goes, okay, I'm going to switch. I'm just going to swing this. What was the lady about the win up? What was the lady?
We talked about that last week.
I'm still confused. I wish I still did drugs. I was like, I needed it for that question. I was like, what is happening? And he made it a great answer.
Yeah.
He is a media master.
He is very good at it. And it helps when you've been in front of the camera as long as he has.
Yeah.
He's been in the camera for a long time. And his dad, obviously, being up at the pulpit and watching his dad. And I don't know if you've ever been around a minister, but they don't just get there and do it. They practice those things.
Yeah.
Like right on Wednesday, right on Thursday, do a dry run on Friday. So he's probably watched his dad do that over and over again, and that's why he's so good at it.
I know you had something, but just real quick. I can lean on you when you were a Cornhusker. It just means more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, go.
brutal.
My one
That's what she said before she asked the question.
My one complaint with Matt Rhule. I can't understand those goddamn emojis. I have no idea what you're saying.
So there's an emoji translator.
Is there actually?
Yeah.
Does it
Just
make
type
sense?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, there is. There's an
Where?
emoji translator. It's on. Just Google it. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, man, you know how many times I put in a emoji I couldn't figure out? I copied it, I put it in, and it showed me what it was.
Have you done it with Matt Rhule?
Yes. Yes, there were times I did it with Matt Rhule, yeah.
Do the messages make sense? Because I've been lost.
Well, the words kind of make sense in a way.
Yeah, I've been lost.
You got to stretch, but I know what each one of them means.
That's fair.
Well, see, I don't know what they mean at all.
Right. Yeah. I've got a good understanding
I know
of what
the
they
poop
are.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never know when the eyes are going what direction, what means. I don't know about the smile part. I don't know all that.
You know the squash one.
What's the squash one?
The eggplant?
The eggplant.
Oh, I know what
Yeah,
the squash and eggplant. That's not even the same family, man.
I blew it.
You know there is a male and female eggplant.
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those many fruit vegetables that have male females so they can procreate. Anyway, my life before this, I was a produce guy for years. Clearly. No, I don't know. The emojis just don't bother me.
Oh, no, I was joking.
No, I know. It's joking. But I've heard people before, like, you know, when he tries to give you a little, I like when he does the like 305 or whatever he's doing with the number. That was That was good. He does everything. He's good. Yeah. He's really good. I don't know how good a coach he'll be. I'll tell you this. The last 2 years he was at Baylor, I tailed homie a lot. That was a team I bet on and very successfully. It's different than when I bet on against Mike Riley. Every other year, Mike Riley's teams would be horrible at Oregon State. And so we used to always joke that we'd always bet against him in that year. And it was perfect. It was like, but the same thing with Coach Rhule. That last year and a half at Baylor, oh my God. What was he, like 11-4 against the spread?
Yeah.
Was killing it. Yeah. So I got nothing against him.
You're excited.
He's made me money. I got nothing against him. He's a good coach. That's what he is. He's a good coach.
I love it. He's a retirement plan is what he is.
He's a bit of a retirement plan. And I love that he said, and he needed to say this because there are a lot of people, even nationally, I listen to shows, the first year he's been this. He said it. He goes, look, it's not like the first year at the other places. This feels like year two.
Right.
And I'm glad he said that because it helps in turning around that narrative that it has to be bad the first year, that it has to be 1 win or 2 wins. It's not that case. It could be 6 because he knows he has better talent and a deeper group and he's got more experience than he had. And he's not coming off, even though Scott Frost, what I don't know. Even though it was messy, it's not a horrible situation like coming off of rape scandals or just being incredibly horrible at Temple. It's not like that, at least.
Yeah.
Looking at the current team, how would you assess the running back room?
So I am very sad that A.J. Allen left. I loved me some A.J. Allen. He was one of my guys that I always pick 5 guys out of every recruiting class, and that's my guys. He was one of them. Mm-hmm. I thought he could be great here. I think he'll be good in Miami. So that hurts. At the same time, not a fan of the way Anthony Grant runs, never have been. I love offensive line play, but I'll tell any of you guys this. I don't care what you do. You rarely ever know what they're doing. We think we know what they're doing. Right. We have an idea that this guy didn't do the right thing. We're almost never right. I spent a full year when I was in Monroe, Louisiana, following Don Shows around. He was the head coach of West Monroe, one of the greatest high school programs ever. Produced a lot of players in the NFL, a lot of college players. Andrew Whitworth, just retired. I covered in high school. Wow. That's how old that dude was. So I followed him around. I did this whole day in the life of an offensive lineman. I went into the film room and I watched the film. And even after all of that and thinking I could study, you don't ever know. Right? Yeah. So I could say that maybe it wasn't all Anthony Grant. I think Anthony Grant made the offensive line look worse because there were times when you go back, especially in the last 6 games outside of maybe the Rutgers game, where you looked and you said, there's the hole. Right. That's where it was drawn to go. I'm almost positive. Why are you messing around?
You're running into the back of people.
Why are you being a bula back and messing around and doing a dance move before you get to the hole? Right. And by the time you get there, it's closed or it's not there at all. So I'm not a huge fan of Anthony Grant, but I think in the right moments, especially later in games when he's the bigger, stronger back and teams are tired, maybe he'll be efficient. I think Gabe Irvin's got the ability to be great. He just hasn't done it yet. And so you can talk about ability all the time. The biggest ability is what? Availability. Right? Yeah. So he's got to be healthy. He's got to do it.
He's always on that.
That's my favorite
It's
saying.
very true, man. It's there's nothing more important than actually being there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you see 1,000-yard back this year?
I think, so if you go back and look at the numbers, right, and just go look at what he's done, whether it was Temple or it was at Baylor, he does produce touchdown makers. Okay, so what's more important to me than a 1,000-yard back is touchdown makers. He had 1 year where one of his guys had 16 touchdowns.
Wow.
Goddamn.
I went back and looked to see who had them because they did a thing on, I can't remember if it was Mike Schaefer or somebody, but on Twitter said who's going to have the most touchdowns. So I went back and looked at leading touchdown getter on his 7 years of coaching college. And guys get touchdowns. So that's what I want. I want, whether it's a quarterback or it's one of the running backs, or if it's wide receivers running into rounds, I don't care. I want guys to get touchdowns. That's more important.
Yeah.
Do I believe Gabe Ervin in a 12-game season playing the non-conference they're playing this year? Yes, I believe he could get to 1,000 yards because he could get, depending on how much time he gets, he could get 500 in those 3 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Easily. Marlon Lucky got the year 2006, 5, 6. I think he had like 220 against Nevada. Yeah. He had another game against Wake or somebody where he had like another. You can get 500 in those 3 games. So then you got another 9 games to get the rest.
So it would be a somewhat misleading 1,000. Somewhat.
Well, the 900 for Anthony Graham last year was misleading.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go back and look and when he did it and who he did it against.
Early on, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. And I also like the freshman. Or tell me the freshman's name. It's coming in.
Is it Emmett Johnson?
No, it's coming in next year.
Oh, no.
Well,
next year?
I mean, he went to Ole Miss for a visit. Lacey.
Yes.
Kawan Lacey.
I love watching him play. That kid's got, if he comes here, he's got amazing talent.
Well, watch out for that one.
Yeah. Well, they've done a good job, right? Getting the guys and keeping them. So I'm looking forward to him next year.
Yeah.
But I think the running back room's good enough.
Yeah.
Especially with a running quarterback who's going to probably take, 20% of the runs? 18% of the runs?
Yeah.
At a minimum?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of a big talking point is the QB run game.
Yeah.
It's like how many attempts per game is he going to get? 5?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, say he averages 13. Say 6 of them are called runs, 7 scrambles, or 7, nobody's open, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Is that unreasonable?
No.
It's not. That's Adrian Martinez numbers.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Well, I mean, we talked a lot about that too during the Adrian Martinez era. It was like, why are we running this dude
How big are
20
you?
times?
How big are you?
I weigh 185 and I'm 6'1".
Okay. The guy that's going to run the ball is 6'4", 235.
He looks like a
That's
linebacker.
big boy.
He's
Right.
not the size of
Cam
Adrian
Newton
Martinez.
is. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Adrian Martinez is also playing with a broken jaw and he was hurt all the time.
twice.
Yeah. So if you can avoid that,
it'd be nice.
Yeah.
The fact that he was hurt in the Minnesota game and the first goal line carry was his.
I know.
Incredible.
Unreal.
I still think back and I go, they were doing drugs. They had to be.
Yeah.
They had to be. You know the guy's jaw's broken.
The play calling, the guys calling the plays were doing drugs, or Adrian, because he needed a lot of drugs too.
He was doing painkillers. The other guys were doing hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Like, he can score.
Yeah.
I bet you he can score. Like, but isn't he hurt? Didn't he hurt his shin too? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Give him the ball.
No worries.
Yeah.
He's
That
a
was some weird
grinder.
stuff. There was some weird play calling that happened throughout that whole process.
Oh, man.
And we've seen so much. I got here in 02. We've seen so much bad play calling in those years. Just, I mean, I probably can name 4 years where I actually thought it was really good play calling. 03, the Barney Cotton year.
Yep.
Where they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to run the ball.
Right.
And then after that, we're going to run the ball some more. And then after that, so I mean, those kind of years, I like that. I appreciate that. I thought the 2012 year, especially after they lost to Ohio State, Bo was like, look, whatever, just go and do it, Taylor.
Right.
And Taylor just did it for 6 straight games or whatever.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. And people who doubt you are stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stupid. Go back and just pull up any of his highlights. He was electric. UCLA out there. Washington.
Washington.
K-State.
Oklahoma
Thursday night.
Thursday. Oh, that was great.
55-45 Oklahoma State. I mean, you go back and you watch that. I remember that Kansas State game so well. We got there and they had Daniel Thomas. And everybody was like, how are we going to stop Daniel Thomas? What are we going to do to stop Daniel Thomas? We know what we're going to do? Taylor Martinez is going to go off.
Yeah.
There's going to be no time to give the ball to Daniel Thomas. And that's what he did.
Right.
And I remember leaving. We were going to Niagara Falls for a wedding. So we left. We went to the game Thursday night. We drove to Kansas City, spent the night at our cousin's house, and then flew out. The whole drive, overnight, all the conversation was about Heisman Trophy candidate, freshman, Taylor Martinez. Taylor Martinez belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Sports Science did a whole special on him after that K-State prime time
How
game.
fast he was.
Oh, yeah. That's how fast he was.
Okay,
Yeah, his 0 to 60.
are we crazy? I'm sure you've seen on social media those like, you got $15 to spend.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. We put one together and we did like an offense. And our quarterback, we'll just do the quarterback line. Our
all
quarterback,
Nebraska players.
All Nebraska
Yes,
players.
win.
since the
All
beginning of time.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is tough when you have a bunch of.
Can I just have 83?
legends. Right. Well,
What's the number for 83? Can I get 15 or 83?
Now you might yell. Okay, so the $5 one was Tommy Frazier.
For a quarterback.
For quarterback.
Over Turner Gill.
Oh, he's really going to hate this. He's really going to hate
No,
this.
I was dislike Tommy at all, but Tommy couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here we
No
go.
offense,
That's the thing.
Tommy.
We had a tough line going with like the today's era versus like the past.
Turner Gill right now
can I
can throw
just
the ball
say-
better than most quarterbacks that play on the
I appreciate that Mike is the one doing this.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. Let me get shit on. It's fine. I don't care.
go ahead.
Okay, so the $5 was Tommy Frazier. The $4 was Eric Crouch, right?
Come on, man. You said won't throw the ball at all,
I
did you?
didn't create it. I don't know.
The $3 was Scott
Steve
Frost.
Taylor. What the hell are you people doing?
The $2.
You know who said that Steve Taylor was the most complete quarterback he ever coached? You know who said that?
Who said that?
A guy
Thomas
times
F. Osborne. That's who said that.
The damn goat.
The
Go ahead.
$2 was Taylor Martinez. And the
was number one,
$1
Michael?
He's gonna hit you.
Who's the $1?
He's gonna hit you.
Turner Gill.
You guys are ridiculous. Pull up some. They have YouTube still. And this, do they have
I
YouTube?
know.
You guys have log hunts? I'll loan you my log hunt. Turner could run. He was athletic. He was a good sized guy. Had a cannon for an arm. Now he played in a system that wasn't designed to throw the ball, right? But they were the triplets. They were the scoring explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made posters.
Yes.
And yes, Mike Rozier was good, and Irvin Fryer was very good. You know who the leader of that team was? Turner Gill.
Okay,
Yeah.
so who would your 5 to 1 be?
My $5 guy would probably be Turner.
Okay.
Then it would be Tommy at 4. Oh man, it's
Steve Taylor at
It
3?
probably would be Steve. I'll probably say Steve Taylor.
Let's put a 2023 cap
Scott
on this
would
too.
not be on there only because you want to talk about benefit of having some really great talent around you. All the guys did.
Right.
That 97 team had a lot of talent and what that defense could do. And yes, Scott made some plays in some games like Missouri, but over the long haul, you probably got to take Eric because of the 4 years of playing and what he could do at any given moment with the ball. But I feel the same about Taylor. I feel that Taylor at any given moment, if he doesn't, the one lick on an ankle, as Tom Osborne said against Missouri, if that doesn't happen, I don't know what his future is.
Right.
Because it never got better. His foot bothered him and his ankle bothered him. And the rest of his, he ended up going and get a free agent contract with the Eagles. And they ended up flunking him because of his health, because of his foot. Yeah. He never got better after that. So I probably would put Taylor. We had 2?
Yeah,
we're at
that's
two.
$2.
2, I'd probably put Taylor at 2.
Hey, we got that there. We got that one right.
Yeah, we nailed that one.
And then
Turner, Tommy,
number 1
Steve.
would be, the $1 one would be Jerry Godowski. 1989.
89. One for 1 year.
I know, but Fremont's best. I mean, if you go back and you look at the numbers, his precision, if analytics were around then, he was very efficient. Very efficient. So maybe Jerry.
If it makes you feel better, you are not the only one to disagree with our list. I think we got
Well,
like
no.
90 replies.
You
of
put
like,
these
are
things
you guys
out.
on
They're
this?
hard. I mean,
Yeah, they're hard.
You know what's good about it is that they have that many good players that you have to make an
Thank
argument
you.
about. I grew up a Penn State fan. There's like 4 guys.
Right.
There's like Chuck Fusina, Kerry Collins.
Trace McSorley.
I'm not putting him on my damn list.
You're
What
putting
about
him on the list.
Saquon?
You have to. That's your five.
Michael Robinson.
Saquon?
Yeah, quarterback.
Well, no. Oh, you're talking quarterbacks.
No, yeah, he's talking
you're
quarterback.
talking quarterbacks. Yeah.
So
I
we
was
did-
even like, oh, okay.
What we do?
Penn State players.
We did QB, running back, wide
yeah,
receiver,
yeah.
tight end, and then an O lineman.
Oh, okay.
O-line was the hardest one.
Yeah.
O-line
It's like,
was
sorry, we
incredibly
have 5 Hall of Famers.
See what you should have did. I don't. Should have did it. I'm 54 years old. I'm gonna tell you what you should have did. You should have done. We're doing right now recent Rushmore. So do like after that. Go like 98 on.
Right.
Okay. Give yourself a challenge. Don't be like including the multiple national championship college football Hall of Famers.
I like that idea.
Try to pick something from 98 on, or better yet, go 02. Because I'm doing offensive linemen right now. The 4 offensive linemen, 3 of them are within like 99, 2000, 2001. Yeah. And then you're like, well, Spencer Long,
Dominic Raiola, Tony Finotti, Spencer Long was good.
I put Hoist Hookstein in there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I put Hookstein in there because I mean, a long career in the NFL too, and all of that. I put him in there as one of the. But you know, you got guys like Carl Nix who had a better NFL career. Obviously,
Carl Nix.
right? Was very good.
Sure, Saints guy.
Yeah, I am. Matt Slauson, who had a nice NFL career, but really didn't do a lot in terms of winning a war. It's go it now,
Right.
Because it's really easy. It's really easy. Look, you're pulling up all these guys who are really good.
Dave Remington was pretty good.
They named the
We're
trophy.
gonna do a
after
revision.
him.
We're
They
gonna do a
named the
revision.
trophy.
Oh, well, the next one I'm doing is tailgate. You get $15 to build your tailgate. What's
This
your
falls in food?
Yeah, food, drink.
Oh, that's your
The Louisiana tailgate guy over here.
Well, it depends on what kind of tailgate you're talking about. Like, do I have time or I only have a grill? Like, am I bringing food from home?
I'm going to say whatever is like within reason. Like if you want to bring your smoker, you want to smoke?
No, can I bring gumbo from home?
Yeah.
Like bring a pot?
Yeah.
We did 2005, Big 12 championship, 2006, Big 12 championship game.
Yep.
5 degrees. When the day started, we got there at like 2 o'clock. It's like, well, time I've ever really tailgated in my life. We got there at 2 o'clock. It was freezing. I brought this giant thing. I make this thing called Uncle Lawrence's beans. They're it's baked beans, ground beef, sausage, onions, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard. People love it. They just
Is
love
that a
it.
side dish or is that like a?
Well, we have it for dinner quite often.
Okay.
Yeah, we have it for dinner quite often because they love it. So I probably would bring that with me. That wouldn't be my number. That would be my $5. My $5 one probably would be my double char wings, which I only make for the Super Bowl, only because they take forever.
Yeah.
Because I grill them in butter.
Okay.
And then bring them in, put them on the grill, come out, sauce them, finish them in the oven. That's probably my $5 one. You know what would not be on the list? I hate queso. I hate queso.
My man.
I hate
That guy
queso.
hates all cheese.
I'm not a huge melted cheese fan. By
Right.
the way,
Oh
you know what
my
queso has in it?
God.
You know what queso essentially has in it?
What?
It's got like sawdust. They put this wheat filler stuff, that chemical they put in it to make it thicker.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like sawdust. I know it's potato starch, but it's basically sawdust. It's
Right.
gross. I don't like that. That wouldn't be on my list.
How do you feel about buffalo chicken dip?
Not a fan.
That's a $4 or $3.
People love that. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. See, if I was going to make a dip, it'd be a seafood dip. It'd be shrimp and crab.
Thank you.
Oh my man.
And a white
I can rock
cheese
with
with cream
that.
cheese. It'd be that. My sister makes one of those. It's incredible. I do love a really good brat. I love a really good brat. The trips to Wisconsin, the best thing about Wisconsin was going bar hopping, not for beer, but for brats.
Yeah.
I had 6 brats in one night. I'm brat hopping.
6 in one night?
yeah.
6. We had 6. The first year we went to
Sausage
2011. 2011 was by far the best night before a game I've ever experienced as following Nebraska football. Stop that. We get there, and it's like 5 o'clock. And we go to the first bar, and we get a couple of brats, and they're getting their drinks and everything, and coaches are out. Coaches are out. Awesome. Not head coach, not offensive coordinator, but coaches are out.
Right.
And we're hanging with some of the coaches. And we go to the next place. Some former Huskers are there. A lot of fans are there. By 11 o'clock, it was Husker fans everywhere. There were chants going on. We got cigars from this place across the street. You had to walk upstairs. You had to like knock on the door to let it in to get the cigars. I don't know if they were illegal or what. We went in there and got those. It was an incredible night. Had a bunch of brats. Had a great time. Didn't have one drink, obviously. Lost my voice talking with former linebacker. Oh, my God. He's a walk-on linebacker for when Bo was here in 2003. Oh, my God. What's his name? I lost my voice talking with him, yelling over the crowd, trying to talk. It was an incredible night. And then the next day happened, and Russell Wilson happened, and Wisconsin fans decided they were going to be absolute jerks.
I heard that
horrible.
The tension in the air, because that was the first road trip for Nebraska in the Big Ten.
Yep.
And it was, I guess, hostile. Obviously, we didn't go, but
quick story. It was packed, right? It was me and Matt Schick and Nick Baugh trying to go get quick food to get back up to the press box. And we had an hour. And we got stuck in the concourse. There were so many people, and you couldn't go either direction. We were stuck there. And the people were literally crowd surfing to get out of the concourse. So we get upstairs, and my whole thing was, Nebraska's going to be able to contain, Levante David going to contain Russell Wilson. They're not know what to expect from, Taylor. All this stuff's going to happen. So I picked Nebraska to win. I had all this whole thing.
Did you bet it?
Into the first quarter, Matt Davison comes out. He looks at me and goes, you nailed it. And then he walks away. And then, of course, Taylor throws the 2 picks.
Right.
Yeah.
One pick to end the half and goes from there. But I felt good for a quarter.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's better than 0.
So I did bet the first half line.
okay.
I lost.
you did.
I lost miserably. I lost miserably the rest of the time. But yeah, that's an incredible place to visit. It's great food. So brats would definitely be on my list. Ribs. I love ribs. They gotta be spicy though. I don't like a lot of sauce. Another city I can't stand is Kansas City. No offense to anybody out there. I hate Kansas City because I don't like sweet sauce. Don't bring me no damn sweet sauce. I like a spicy sauce. I like a vinegar-based sauce. I don't like a sweet sauce. And they think they're too good with barbecue, and North Carolina's better.
I rock with Kansas City as a city.
Okay.
I don't love their barbecue.
I think their barbecue is great. People love it too. It's okay.
It's
like I lived in Texas.
Right.
So we don't smoke in Texas. We grill in Texas. I spent time in Virginia, which is more of like North Carolina when I was in the military. And it's the vinegar. It's again, that way. I like that. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the smoked ribs.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, but I love ribs. Shout out to Wayne's Skew on Center by my house. They make the best spicy wing in town, in my opinion. I'm not wing, best spicy rib in town.
We'll have to try it.
So is that two? Is that $2 one?
Yeah, that's a $2.
So you got a
and then I have a
$1.
$1 one, something
Queso.
cheap, something cheap.
Queso.
Not queso.
I'm not gonna do queso. I can't stand queso. I
I
like
know,
queso.
that's why it's number one.
We got to go with a
$1
Fairbury hot dog, right?
No.
No.
He's got brats.
Why you want to put that dye in your body? I'm just saying. I don't know what it's made of.
It tastes like home.
We get the big toms when my father-in-law lives in St. Paul, Nebraska. And whenever we go there, we grill outside on the open flame, and he has those big toms, the big red dogs from Fairbury's, and we eat those, and they're good. I probably would say my number one would be, can I pick a dessert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go with brownies. I like a good brownie. I probably go to, you got some dessert there. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I go to brownie.
So if there's anything that we've learned here,
is we got to tailgate with.
we got we got to tailgate with Michael Severe, the beefed up glizzy gobbler. Put a hashtag on it.
Six brats in a night is insane.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
So I was thin then.
Yeah.
And I could eat whatever I wanted. And like I turned 40 and it was like, that ended.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then I could, I could sit down and eat as much. I could eat a whole pizza. I could eat anything you put in front of me. I could finish it.
Did you consider?
And I didn't drink though, so I think that helped. That I didn't drink beer.
Yeah.
Like when you started brat number 5, were you considering like maybe I should call Guinness and see if this is a world record?
No, I know it's like 40. I'm sure. I'm sure I was nowhere near the world record.
Hey, let me throw some names at you.
Yeah.
And see if they trigger any alarm bells. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Safronic.
That's him. Safronic. Yes. Steve Safronic tells an amazing story about standing next to Bo Pelini during a game in 2003 where Bo calls a timeout. In the middle of nowhere, Bo's like, what are you doing? They're on defense. He calls his timeout. And he's not the head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. He calls a timeout. They're like, what's going on? And he walks over and he talks to the huddle and he goes, so they're going to do this. We weren't covered in the back end for this. Change this out. They go back out there. They pick it off because he told them what they were going to do. They didn't change the play. Let's go. And they pick it off. Bo was incredible like that. And Safronic tells that story.
Wow.
Yeah, God, that was a good night, man.
We got to get that guy on the pod.
Yeah, he was good. He was really good. He got great story. The best stories are from walk-ons that didn't play a lot.
We know that.
Matt Verzal's got the greatest stories because all Matt did was sit back and everybody told him stuff.
Right.
And then he owned a bar in Lincoln. So even more
Heard it
stuff.
all, yeah.
He heard all of it, yeah.
Okay.
Those are the best guys. Yeah.
So last week, I don't know how long we got, but last week we had talked about where have all the dogs gone? The dogs.
I got a lab at the house.
No.
Mando Calrissian Severe.
We're not talking dogs. We're talking dogs.
DAWG.
Yeah, dogs.
Dogs. Yeah.
Who on this 2023 squad of Nebraska? Who are the dogs?
Easy. You know who the biggest dog is?
Oh, I guarantee
on that team. No, seriously, and he's not big.
I know who you're
It's Malcolm Herzog, dude.
Yeah.
He is a dog. He don't give a damn if you're taller than him, if you're faster than him, if you're stronger than him. He is great at the line of scrimmage. He's great and open. He can get up in the air. I mean, he is a dog. You know who he is? He's
Courtney Grigsby.
No, back farther. He's 1993, 94. His son plays for the team. Went to Canada, played Baron Miles.
Yeah,
he's
Baron Miles.
Yeah. He is Baron Miles. Baron Miles went against all those big wide receivers for Florida State and Miami, and he shut them down because he's just a dog.
Challenged consistently last year.
Yeah,
because other teams
Quentin
would see him.
Newsom's so good on the other side.
Mm-hmm. And he rose to the occasion every time.
By the way, Quentin Newsom should have been on several preseason watch lists for second team, third. He's going to be in a Big Ten team. Because, I mean, this is his third year. Look how many PBUs he's had.
Right.
Look how they're throwing away from him last year. He's a good corner. He's a very good. He may have struggled a couple of times with his angles, like a game against Northwestern. But other than that, he's a good corner. He should be a potential guy for Big Ten.
You know, I was watching the Big Ten bus tour that they're doing.
Yeah, I watched that.
And they're at Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I see on the bottom ticker that they have 8 returning all Big Ten players coming back.
On both sides or just defense?
On both sides.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
But I'm just like,
who are
Nebraska doesn't have 0.
Yeah, because like Bateman's gone and Abraham's gone and Tanner Morgan's gone.
8 of them.
The big giant right tackle they had, he's gone.
Yep.
So who are they?
Tall.
Who are they?
They didn't have a list, but I just saw 8. And I'm just like, Nebraska has
Pro Football, even Pro
0.
Football Focus had 0, had nobody in the first or second or third team, and that's going by analytics.
Right.
Like how is Quentin Newsome not one of your top 6 cornerbacks? I don't get that.
I don't know.
And just like even seeing what Hardzog did last year, it's like, why isn't he doesn't even make, third team or whatever.
And then I think offensively, dog wise,
come on.
Oh goodness. Let me see.
I don't like that you have to think this hard.
I know.
I don't like this.
Maybe it's because there's so many.
I think I'm telling you, Billy Kemp is a dog. I know that. I've talked to people who covered Billy Kemp. Billy Kemp is not afraid of anything. Returns punts with guys in his face. He's completely, throws all caution in the wind when he's returning. Will throw himself into the end zone if he's the 1 yard line. He is a tough kid. I probably would go with him as a dog. These are 2 small guys too.
Guys.
They're 2 small guys who are dogs. My concern is that I don't know if any of the offensive linemen are dogs. I've heard good things about Ben Scott. Started a lot of games. We've heard stuff about, Piper being in really good shape and how he is. He's a very smart kid. I'd love to see Noelle have that anger streak because he's as talented and as strong as anybody there. I'd love to see him be that guy. It'd be wonderful to see Prohaska at some point stay healthy. That would be great. Ben Hart's still there.
He's there.
Yeah. He's there.
He's on the roster.
Yeah, he's in great shape. Everybody says he looks great. It's like Leiden Murtha, they say he looks like, which is. But of course, Leiden, you know what Leiden was?
Well, he had
look like Tarzan, play like Jane. Yeah, you don't want that.
You're right.
You don't want that at all. You don't want that. Yeah, fastest. You know who would have? You know what's funny is that Richie Incognito had like the fastest one before that. Richie was having a great combine until he got hurt in a mirror drill.
This might not be a popular take, but I wouldn't mind having a few of Richie Incognitos on this line.
Or Ricky Henry.
Ricky Henry
was
take that.
mean. I watched Ricky Henry in high school go against who was the brother from Central? Oh, damn it.
Did he go to Miami?
No, not Harlan Gunn. This was a guy who played both sides, played for Nebraska. Anyway, they went against each other in a game where they fought like the whole game. It was like every time you're like, stop fighting.
Guys.
Because they both were playing both ways.
Yeah.
And they're just beating each other up. Yeah.
Hey, so was it Ben Scott? They put up the picture at the beginning of spring and then after summer.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at just the general health, just looking at this dude, it's actually so impressive. I mean, that's a transformation that I don't know. Like, I can't look back in recent memory and be like, man, you know what?
Dave Kennedy transformations. Dave Kennedy would have transformations where you'd be like, it's the same dude. And they weren't always good.
Yeah.
Barry Turner, who came in as a tight end out of Tennessee, who ended up playing defensive end, who as a freshman was incredible, like 230. He made him to 290. He came to Big 12 media days and we're like, well, who's that guy? We're like, Barry Turner? Oh my God.
Wow.
So it's not always great, but he would have those kind of transformations. Dave Kennedy would. So that's positive, man. I mean, there's nothing like strength and conditioning coaches dominating for you. There's nothing like it. He's a dog, by the way.
Yeah.
Strength and conditioning coach is a dog.
Oh, yeah.
You like it?
If you remember our live show with Chris Schmidt, that's who I picked as the assistant that I was most excited for. I was stoked about it. Granted, it was mostly because of that one picture where he was just walking on the field and just like a tank.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Smitty. So years ago, remember I tell you I did all these shows with all these guys, right? I've done shows with everybody. I did shows with Hanley and Callahan and all these different guys, right? I'm doing a show with Smitty. And Smitty's just getting into it. He just started doing the radio. And a topic comes up like about boxing or something. It just, when you're doing a radio show, topics come up. And Smitty was like, I don't have anything to say about that. And I go, Smitty, that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
Make something up. You gotta talk about it.
Talk out of your ass.
Just the way it works.
This is your job.
He's like, I'll tell you. That was probably 17 years ago. But
wow.
That was Smitty's story.
Speaking of Chris Schmidt, you mentioned earlier talking about A.J. Allen go to Miami.
Yeah.
Did you guys see there was a segment the other day where Schmidt was talking about running back room?
Oh, God.
And, who do we think, what we refer to as the bell cow, I think this season is going to have to be the dogs.
Yeah.
Like who that dog is going to be in that running back room.
Yeah.
And someone called in and was like, with what I'm seeing, I think it's got to be A.J. Allen. And Smitty just leans in. And he's like, he doesn't play at Nebraska anymore.
Yeah, he said, I think he's gonna be great at Miami.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, good at Miami. Yeah.
And the guy just,
You know what? It's hard to keep up, man.
Yeah.
The portal makes it makes the offseason so much more tough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what was I was listening to I listened to the Action Network podcast, and they were doing one on the AAC, and they were giving these names. I was like, that dude was at Oklahoma State. That guy was at this. And I'm like, everything's popping in my head of where these guys were before.
Yeah.
And the first thing they would do when they got to every team was they would talk about the portal number and how many people came in. And you're like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
By the way, I remember I won so much money on SMU a couple of years ago. Mordecai. They brought in Mordecai. They brought the tight end from Oklahoma in. And they were at 5.5 was the total. And I was like, you guys are kidding me.
Bury that.
You're kidding me.
So you talk about the transfer portal and where these guys are ending up, and you think maybe the people that listen to Michael Severe probably feel the same way. They're like, I heard him on this. I heard him on that.
Yeah.
He's been with everybody.
I thought he was on the bottom line on the World Herald.
I've never said no to a pod. I don't care who it is, and especially if it's somebody young, if it's kids.
Right.
In a heartbeat. They have what the kids have going for them right now, with the ability to do this in their basement, in the living room, in the kitchen table, with the phone. It's incredible. The next generation of play-by-play guys and talk show people are going to be so much better than we ever were. I didn't actually get to work like a 3-camera thing until I was actually in the business. In my college, we had 2 cameras shooting a football game at Sam Houston State. We shot Alcorn State and Sam Houston State with Steve McNair at quarterback with 2 cameras. These kids now are in high school. They're freshmen, and they got 3 camera shoots streaming online with play-by-play guys and sideline reporters.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. It's incredible. So, like, if anybody, they DM me or whatever, I do it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, it's appreciated.
And I mean, you guys are big timers. I mean,
I wouldn't say big timers. Yeah.
This is I told her a long time ago. I said, yeah, if he wanted me on a show, I'll do it. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call us big timers. I'd call us moderate timers.
Listen. He said it, not us.
Yeah, just take it.
I will say this about the name of your show. Honestly, if Jerry Rice never laid a block, he still was going to get it right. I'm just saying, there's exceptions to every rule. Exceptions to every rule, man.
It's Jerry Rice.
He's an outlier.
If you're good enough.
Hey, how many Jerry Rices are there?
Well, one.
Thank you.
There's a couple other wide receivers who didn't have to block either.
You didn't see Randy Moss out there.
Yeah, nobody ever goes George Kittle if he doesn't block. Yeah, I mean, George Kittle can block. But on the other hand, not everybody that plays tight end blocks.
Hey,
right.
Yeah.
If you're Ty Hahn, you better block, baby.
Well, you better play special teams.
You better. Listen,
No
you gotta
offense,
block.
no offense to Ty Hahn.
Listen, we love Ty Hahn.
There's a lot of guys out there, huh?
Yeah.
He names ways, and I understand why he's doing it. You know, it is a way, and this is something that Devaney said years ago. He said, he wanted to go to every single school, he wanted to go to every single county, wanted to go to every single town, and have the people feel that they were invested in Nebraska. And the way to do that was to recruit kids to walk on from all those towns and those counties. I get that. I understand completely. You want to sound like you're in Nebraska, everything. Put the players on the field that got stars.
Yep.
Put all them bras out there.
Yeah.
All the bras.
Wait, who are the bras?
Play all the bras.
What do you mean?
Play all the bras at wide receiver.
Is Ty Hahn not a bruh?
Unless Cooper Kupp's coming back to Nebraska. Play the bras.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Just saying.
Okay.
Season prediction.
Yeah, well, go. Dang it.
Yeah,
What?
I got you.
Are you
Well,
gonna get into it? Go ahead.
I was going to ask it in a different way.
Go ahead.
How many happy Big Red wrap-ups are there going to be this year?
Well, know this. This is my 5th year doing Big Red Wrap Up. Go back and do the math. How many wins we've done?
Not a lot.
It's like 12.
Yeah.
It's like 12 wins. It's very sad.
And a lot of them are against not good teams at all.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bethune Cookman.
Yes, exactly. So there's not a lot of wins. I told you, I look at this roster, and ever since I've been at the World Herald where they do the top 50, I do my own top 50. And it's funny, I said to myself, God, this last 20 is really hard this year. Top 30, I can put together a pretty good list. Top 25, easy. Top 50 is really tough. And I was talking to Sam McEwen. He said the same thing. He goes, man, that bottom 20, it's hard. They don't have a lot of proven depth. They don't have a lot of depth in general. So I worry about that. I bet the under 6.5. I think 6 makes sense. I can find 8 million roads to 6. I can. 7 would involve beating somebody who they're probably going to be a touchdown or more favorite against. Nebraska's going to be a touchdown or more underdog against.
Right.
So it's not as easy to say 7. Let me say the number one cliche in the state of Nebraska. They win the first two, all bets are off, baby. Right. But you can find it 6 easy. I can find 6 easy, and 6 depending on how it happens. 6 involving the wins and a couple of close losses to teams that are better than you, and staying with Michigan. All that's going to matter, right? It's all going to matter to how we're going to feel at the end of the year. They go to a bowl game, they win a bowl game, they end season 7 and 6. Everybody's they're not ecstatic, but they're happy.
They're happy.
So I can see 6. That's where if I was going to have to bet it, which I did, I would go. I would say 6. At this point.
So, I mean, but how many years in the last 5 years have you said, I can see six wins
Last
easy?
year?
Yeah.
Last year. I said 7 last year.
Yeah.
So, and let me say, analytically wise, they should have won 7 games.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, we do have a sort of rule.
Uh-oh. Is it with an H or not?
No
H.
No
Okay.
H.
It's a real
hell with that.
Yeah.
we have to. I know, a lot of people are saying 6, but we don't allow it.
You don't allow 6 and 6?
We think it's a coward's game.
Everybody says 6 and 6. You gotta pick a side.
I think they beat Colorado. They beat Louisiana Tech. They beat Northern Illinois.
Well, what about Minnesota?
I'd name the wins.
Oh, you're just naming the wins only. Okay.
I'm naming the wins. Northern Illinois. Then you play. Help me out. Who
Michigan.
You lose to Michigan. So Michigan. You beat Purdue, and you beat Northwestern, and you beat Michigan State.
Oh.
Those are my 6.
There
On
you
the
go.
road,
On the road,
going
to make a bowl game.
I would bet the under of Michigan State. I think it's like 5.5. I don't
You're
think
taking
they'd be
the
very
under.
good. I don't think they'd be very good. I think they're gonna be bad.
Are you a backdoor better kind of guy?
Like, what's her name?
Normally, I prefer backdoor. That was like a year ago.
And it still applies
A
to this
win
day.
is a win. There is no list that goes 1 loss. You got a backdoor cover. No, none of those.
Yeah.
They all count as wins.
Just win, baby.
They all count as losses.
I knew as soon as you
if-
started that question.
If we're gonna go to 7, I would say
Come on.
I would love Illinois, but that's the short week coming off of
I don't
Michigan.
like Illinois at all. I think they're going to be
It's
good.
a short week and it's a short week. You play the most physical team you play, and you get a short week on a Friday.
Iowa.
I have Maryland. Maryland would be 7. Although I think Maryland offensively is going to be terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to put up some points.
Oh, yeah.
But, Little 2 is going to throw. Tagovailoa is going to throw games where he has 4 interceptions.
He's going to turn the ball over.
He's going to turn the ball over for Tagovailoa. Yes, he's going to do that. But Maryland's at home.
People always say that about Maryland, though, right? They're going
have
to score a
talent.
lot. They're going to score a lot. They're going to score a lot.
Look at all the draft picks he's had since he's been there.
Yeah,
Look what he's done.
like his skill players.
Yeah, he's got
at
skill
Maryland.
players. Yeah. And even when he brings guys in the portal, they end up playing better. So, there's my 7. I gave you 7. I gave you 7.
He chose a side.
Do you think it's more likely to get 7 or 5?
It's more likely to get 7 than it is to get 5.
All right, see that. There's the pick.
So then I have to pick 7 losses, and it's hard to pick 7 losses. It's easy for me to pick 7 wins. Hell, it's easy for me to pick 8 wins, right?
That's
easy
did too.
because Minnesota, right? It's easy to pick 8 wins.
You don't even say Iowa.
Yeah.
We beat Iowa on the road last year with that team.
I didn't see you playing. Anyway,
My big question with Iowa is: Does Cade McNamara really create?
Yes,
that he
yes,
does? Yeah.
yes, he does.
See
Cade
that being a big
McNamara
difference?
is going to give them something they haven't had in 3 or 4 years. Going to give them the ability to make throws on 3rd and 8. They put themselves in 3rd and 8 all the time. Right. The whole idea that they're a great running team, they won it in the last 6 years. Do you know? I used to keep track of this. Going into Nebraska games, the majority of the years over the last 6, they've been under 4 yards a carry. Now, in some of those Nebraska games, the games were so dominant, they got over 4 yards a carry on the season because they were so good, but they've never been a great running. They've had one really good year in the last 6 running the ball. And so I think he's going to give them the ability to make conversions on 3rd down.
I saw last year that Iowa averaged like 2 yards a carry last year or something like that.
For the season?
Which is insane.
For the season.
I think they were 3-1 for the season, I think.
I heard 2 somewhere. I don't know.
I think they were 3-1, and then maybe it was in conference play.
And the other thing,
it might have
too,
been in conference play.
maybe. But the other thing about that too is if you're the defending team and Spencer Petras is the quarterback, I'm gonna load the box.
You're gonna load the box, right? Yeah, no doubt. And the offensive line play wasn't as good as it's been in the past. You could put I don't know.
That's the weird part about the schedule though.
Yeah.
It's like when I look at it, I'm like, I mean,
remember we talked about depth, though.
Yeah.
Right? We're concerned about Nebraska's
and by
depth.
Black Friday.
And by the time you get to Black Friday, if you had a couple of injuries, if the young guys haven't been able to step up and do stuff yet, it could be very dangerous when you get to that game. So that's why it's hard to look at Wisconsin and Iowa at the end of the year and know what Nebraska's going to be.
No, I get it.
Right. When Alabama's playing who?
The Citadel.
The Citadel.
Yeah. If you can guarantee, you know what, dude? Does it work?
It works.
Do what works.
Right.
Yes. Do what works. You know what? You know, if you got too much salt in the soup, you put a potato in there. It takes the salt out. It works. It's stupid, but it works.
Right.
What they're doing works. It works for all of those SEC teams that do it. You need a week late in the season after playing those schedules where you get right. Play 1-2 quarters. Maybe play 1 quarter.
If no one's going to make you do anything different,
do it.
Hello.
Yeah. Although I think this is the last year they have 8. I think next year they go to 9.
Yeah. I think they just came out and said, yeah, they'd be willing to go to 9.
Yeah.
The SEC is finally going to 9?
I think it'll go to 9. Yeah.
Wasn't Bama the lone dissenting vote on that?
I have no idea.
I think they were. I think everybody else in the conference is like, yeah, let's
do it.
And Bama was like, no, I don't think so.
It works well for them, you know?
Yeah.
And especially when it's like the years it was before LSU. They knew that was the toughest game on their schedule. They put that before. Both teams did it. Both teams had the FCS team. So yeah. I would say, going back to that question, it's hard to find, in my opinion, and this is probably wrong as hell, but 7 losses. Based off of what I know from Jeff Sims. Listen, first of all, let me tell you this. I wanted to be an engineer as a little kid. I wanted to go to Georgia Tech. I loved Kenny Anderson. I loved Georgia Tech basketball. Ramon Rec, Georgia Tech. I loved them, okay? So I've always kept an eye on Georgia Tech. I thought Jeff Collins would do wonderful things. He did not. I loved Paul Johnson, loved running the option. I loved the flex bone. I loved all that. I followed Georgia Tech. Jeff Sims is much better than what you see from his numbers. Because that team was so bad, and it was so lacking of talent and so lacking of explosiveness, he had to do so many things at times. Go and cherry pick a couple of games where you'll see him rush for 100 yards, throw for 200. He has the ability to do that. He's going to have better talent around him now than he had at Georgia Tech. He's going to be good.
I love that.
I love it.
Well, I do love hearing that from you. And one of the alarming things that you heard from the bus tour was that out of all the quarterbacks that have started like 15 games, Jeff Sims leads the country in turnovers like per game or something like that.
Yeah.
So that is going to be something that we got to keep an eye on, of course.
And you can still win with turnovers. You got to turn people over. Oregon, all those years they were winning and playing very well, they were turning the ball over a ton. Marcus Mariota, the year he won the Heisman, had something like 11 fumbles. So you can turn the ball over as long as your defense is turning them over.
You know, Michael, with this countdown thing I'm doing, I know I always say this, but all those old games that I watch of Nebraska, they fumble so much. It's ridiculous.
Is it 94 or 95? I think it's 94.
94, they
set the nation record, right? Yeah, for most fumbles. Yeah, but got them back. Got a lot of them back because of the way the system was run. You had a quarterback who was waiting, could jump on the ball a lot of times. Yeah, so yeah, turn the ball over. Just turn them over.
So we just need 94 black shirt defense. Oh, 2023.
Yeah, it'll be great.
That'd be easy.
You want a guy?
We need Christian Peter.
You want a guy? By mid-season, Princewell will be the guy.
All right.
By mid-season. True freshman, Princewell, Human Yellen. Princewell, Human Yellen, by the middle of the season will be the guy.
Are we giving him like dog status or like junior dog status right now?
I'm giving him junior Randy Gregory status.
Wow.
Okay.
That's bigger.
Remember when Randy got it, he was already 20. He'd already gone to junior college. He already set a year out because of a broken leg. Right. So he was a man. Princewell's not a man yet, but he is going to be doing man-like things.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, he
coming off the edge.
He flashed in the spring game.
He's got quickness. He's got length. He's got bend. And I know they're going to know how to use him.
Michael Severe, what you're doing right now is not a healthy thing for us.
You're just getting us all psyched.
You're getting us all freaking excited.
Well, you got to. I mean, why not be?
It's sports.
Why go in being negative?
It's sports.
Yeah. Look, man, Cub fans forever. We're like, it's here, baby. And eventually it happened.
Yeah.
Saints fans for years. Eventually happened.
06.
Yeah.
Woo.
Saints were 09.
09. Bound to get
Cubs were 2016.
Yeah, I don't care about the Cubs. Fuck Cubs.
That's all right. Eventually it happens for almost everybody except for the Lions.
Did you see for the first time since they got to Ford Field, they have sold out all their season tickets?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that.
Been,
because Dan Campbell is a dog.
You know who was talking about it?
I agree.
Was Mike Tirico, who's a huge Lions fan.
Oh my
and he said it like on the Hall of Fame game. He said it like 9 times. Like, we know you're a Lions fan.
Yeah, we get it.
Calm down, Shorty.
Yeah, we get it.
We had him in studio. He came in for an event and he had him in studio. And this happens all the time. He's like, hey, here's my number. Call whenever.
Never answer.
Jaws, same thing. Ron Jaworski, same thing. Yeah. We had Ron Jaworski watch tape of Harrison Beck.
Wow.
We had him breaking down VHS tape of Harrison Beck playing in the Florida-Alabama game or whatever. It was like an all-star game.
Yeah.
And he was playing in that. We had him breaking down the tape in studio.
Wow.
Incredible.
How much time did he waste in his life doing that?
Watching tape? A lot.
Of Harrison Beck.
Yeah.
That was only like 40 seconds.
What is he, like touchdown god or something now?
Throw God.
Throw god. Have you seen that?
Terrifying.
Harrison Beck, though.
He's terrifying.
Yes, he's crazy.
Terrifying.
2006 K-State?
Yeah. He
came in and
best play he ever made. He got roughing the passer. He was 0 for I think he was 0 for 1 with a roughing the passer for a first down to help him get the win. Like, way to go. Good job.
I thought he had a completion of that.
So quick, I don't think he did. Real quick, one of the greatest practice stories of all time. So Harrison Beck they're in practice. It's Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's wearing a green jersey. So they put green jerseys on all the quarterbacks. And this is when you had, Adam Carricker and Jay Moore, and you had Ola Duggan-Duro, I believe.
Dogs.
And dogs at defense. And Harrison Beck, the night before, his band had played a concert.
Oh no.
In Lincoln.
Oh no.
And he was like talking all this mess and everything. And I guess he was kind of hungover. And so he's back there and he's talking mess to the sideline of Nebraska's defense. And Callahan's like, okay, I'm going to take the jerseys off. Zach, come over here to the sideline. We're taking the jersey off. So Harrison Beck's out there. He runs a bootleg. Well, who's coming off the edge is Adam Carricker.
Oh,
and
God.
he grabbed his hamstring like he got hurt. Harrison Beck grabs his hamstring and kind of falls to the ground. And Bill Callahan looks at him and goes, "Psh, all right, next one in there." And he didn't even go over to check and see if he was okay. He just moved the play 10 yards down the field and left Harrison on the ground. So after the practice, and I don't think I've ever cursed on a podcast since like the first year I worked at Unsportsmanlike Conduct by accident.
Yeah.
But I'm going to curse now. Because post-game, after practice, we're interviewing Corey McEwen.
Yeah.
And somebody says, "Hey, Corey, did you go to see Harrison's band last night?" He goes, "I ain't fucking go see his fucking band. What the fuck?" I was like, that guy's not going to make it here.
Yeah.
Because they hate him. And he's on their team.
Yeah. That's incredible. Throw God, baby.
I would love it if Bill Callahan did he take the jerseys off knowing that Harrison was talking shit?
Yeah, that's exactly why he did it. That's why he pulled Zach out.
Now look, Bill Callahan, he catches a lot of flack.
Yeah.
But that's a salty dude right there.
That's an offensive line coach.
Right.
Yeah.
The best offensive line coach probably
ever. Yeah. Alex Gibbs. There's like 4 guys total that all came from that same kind of outside zone. But he understood. Now, he's not a good people person.
Right.
Bill couldn't do that. If you were a player and you were having a problem with your girlfriend, coach was not the person to talk to. He was not that guy. But he was brilliant in terms of what he could do in terms of offensively in his scheme in his first 15. And he understood football to the point where he was like, you can't be dogging my defense like that.
Right.
You haven't proven anything. You've done nothing. You haven't played a game yet. You're a 4 or 5 star. That's all you've ever done. And so that's why he pulled the jerseys.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like Bill Callahan.
I always look.
Nebraska
You
coach.
want a what if? You want a nice what if comic book? What if they beat Oklahoma in 2006?
Right.
In that game, they go on to play in a BCS game, right? All those guys he had coming in 2007, he had a really good class put together he would have had an incredible class in 2007. They don't spend their entire offseason getting ready for USC, which they did. They wore those guys out getting ready for USC. Then they lose the USC game and they've got nothing left. And if the Ball State game happens, if they win in 2006, I'm not saying he doesn't leave eventually to go to the NFL or whatever. They win. That's a different story. There's no Bo, obviously, and they win a bunch of games. They win that one game.
Blew that freaking lead in the championship game against OU.
And if you don't believe that, go back and it's on YouTube somewhere. Watch the post-game show, the coach's show. And it's Jim Rose interviewing Callahan. Go back and watch that. Callahan's just like, the whole time. Because he knew it. They had it. They win that game. Maurice Purify, first play, fumbles, puts the ball on the ground. Oklahoma scores 7 points right away, 3 plays in. They win that game. If Zach misses 2 throws where he doesn't get rid of it quick enough, they get picked off. They win that game. It's a different story.
Yep.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Good. He's better than the last guy.
Look,
so I'm saying.
I don't want to play the what if game because what if they would have played the Akron game?
Oh, there's tons of what Nebraska's got one of the best these last 20 years. What ifs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, Corey Crawford coming to play quarterback instead of going to play baseball.
Right.
I mean, there's tons of what ifs. Yeah. You know, Eric Crouch doesn't leave. He leaves and doesn't come back. What happens?
Yeah.
Right.
What happens in the situation then? So,
Or if Scott Frost doesn't come back from Stanford.
Yeah.
Oh, you never know.
You never know. You never know. You know who thought he could play though was who was the backup quarterback? Coach at Scott. He's like, he wanted to start.
You had shoot.
The quarterback at Scott, the coach at Scott, he's like, I can win. Turman, the Terminator.
Oh, yeah, the Terminator.
Matt Turman was ready to be the quarterback. He's like, I can take this team to a national championship. No problem.
Yeah.
As long as I got
Just
these
hit
guys
the ball.
running behind me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
hit the ball.
Exactly.
That's what he did at K-State.
That's all you got to do for a half.
Here, take it.
So you want to talk about things that never would happen today? During halftime of a game, they took Brooke Behringer into a ambulance and reinflated his lung so he could go play.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what never happens today?
Anything like that?
That does not happen.
That's crazy.
They don't even want to give you painkillers for an injury.
But they let guys play with broken jaws. I mean, whatever. Hey, whatever.
Hey, one thing if you can't eat, the other thing if you can't breathe. Right.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
He's in a collapsed lung protocol.
Exactly. Yes. Don't worry. We'll reinflate it. Stick a needle in there.
He's just in the tent right now.
That's nuts. He'll be fine. No
That's
problem.
crazy.
Yeah.
That dude was different.
Dog.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got on time, Mike?
It's time to ask Mr. Severe to plug himself. Tell everybody what you're doing now.
See him in the sausage party and plugging myself at the same time.
You knew that was coming.
Okay,
It's a dangerous episode.
That's a stretch. You stretch that.
That's not a stretch. I'm just saying, one's in the front, one's in the back. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now we're talking about stretching. What are we doing?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Talk about what you're doing.
Can you talk about let it fly or
So
something?
starting obviously Tuesday before the first game, Nebraska, Minnesota, will have our first show for Big Red Wrap Up. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great one. Jay Moore is back. Sean Callahan with recruiting. Damon Benning. We'll have lots of guests and everything. That's going to be great. Let It Fly show we usually tape between Tuesday and Thursday. I know we got a bunch of Husker guys that are coming up now that football season is starting. We're going to do that. We're continuing our series we're doing on recent Rushmores. Offensive line is this week.
98 on.
98 on. Yeah, recent Rushmores.
Right.
Every time I post one, people are like, oh, what about him on green? I'm like,
yeah,
98. The next person's like, he said since 98. He said since 98.
You don't even need to say it. Someone else will say
It happens every time. And then also, I'm going to be starting a podcast later this week, actually, a food podcast with Sarah Baker Hansen.
Ooh.
Sarah and I are going to do a podcast. The name of it is going to be Food Prowl with Severe, SPH and Severe. And so we're going to go to all these different restaurants and chat with some chefs and eat some food and that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
Yep.
Oh
that's a Heard It produced podcast.
All right.
Is it Heard At?
Yep.
Okay.
That's going to have to be
Heard
in
that
my
family.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Heard that ripping. Okay. Michael Severe, I guess this is where we thank you for joining
Well,
us.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks for
man.
the invitation. This was fun.
yeah.
What day of the week is this? Monday?
Monday.
This is a good Monday night.
Yeah.
I'm glad you think so.
I did. I had it on my
good for us,
I had it on my calendar. I was very excited about it. I had it at 7 though. Thank you for who sent me the
That
was my
good work, kid. Yeah. Because I had it in there at 7.
That's good.
Don't show up at 7 because we'd probably had a few, what are these called again?
Beers.
Beers.
Few good games. Yeah.
Cerveza.
Yeah, cerveza.
Yeah.
Taco Vesa. Yeah. Okay, guys.
Don't be culturally appropriating on here.
Yeah.
Listen, we straddle the line on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should have come on.
There's nothing wrong with that, dude. I was on unsportsmanlike conduct. We straddled. We straddled the hell out of the line.
Yeah, you cussed on air once.
We kicked the line's ass. We did Bo at home. During Bo at home, Bo's wife was sniffing markers.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had some moments.
Straddling plug-in sausage parties.
There was a lot of that going on. Yeah. Yes, no doubt. Yeah.
What an episode.
Yeah.
Bo Pelini called a line of to get some help from coaching. He actually called a sex line instead, and the guy on the other line was Callahan. And Callahan was giving Bo football sex advice. Sometimes you get a call from the university. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Do you have an archive of just everything that you've done?
No, that
at
stuff's
least-
all gone. And I have some stuff. Like I have some foreign Callahan stuff that I saved, and Bill Callahan's 5 stages of grief when he got fired, and Matt Schick did that. We have some of that, but most of that stuff is just in the ether, man, which is good.
Yeah.
Because Kevin has a real job, and he doesn't need all that job.
Yeah.
He doesn't need that stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need you in Food Prowl to get canceled because you said
No, I don't need
Something
that.
silly.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm a new guy now.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Okay, guys. At NBNR Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Go follow us. We'd really appreciate it. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are on those platforms.
Don't forget Amazon. We're on Amazon too, right?
He said it.
Yeah.
Give us a 5-star review. It helps with the algorithm and stuff.
Something
He
like
said we
that.
sign off.
Yep.
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Kyle Byers.
Connor Cadillac.
Michael Severe.
That sounded unsure.
Michael Severe.
Was there a question mark?
Is it my time?
As always, GBR.
Fuck you, San Diego.